Namaskar Bondhura. Hi friends. So this is a special lesson which I prepared according to a suggestion received through the comments. Now the comment was to encapsulate the rules by which a word changes when it moves from Sanskrit to Bengali. Initially, I thought that there was not much point in it because those rules are very commonly known and most people would already know it. Uh, but later I gave it a thought and I realized that there are so many Indians on this channel and they probably have some knowledge of Sanskrit, some exposure of Sanskrit through their own mother tongues. So it did make a lot of sense to cover the rules uh, in a structured format so people who already have an existing Sanskrit base can utilize those words to understand how they can use those words in Bengali. So they can just Bengalify those known Sanskrit words and can it will just give a huge boost to their uh, vocabulary base because the sheer number of words in Bengali which are of Sanskrit origin is huge. Uh, so let's have a look at some of the rules in today's video. The single most commonly happening change in Sanskrit to Bengali transformation of words is change of akar to okar. Now, this is a change in pronunciation and not in spelling. Now, a sub rule to this is there can be words with halants or consonant endings. So those in those cases we also add vowels to soften them, and okar is a vowel of choice in case of that. But again, the okar we add is in pronunciation. In spelling, the added vowel is a. Now let me just make it clearer with some examples. Let me start by making a few things clear. Number one, wherever you see there are red letters, those are the places where the changes take place. Number two, the changes happen only in pronunciation and not in spelling. So Sanskrit is written in Devanagari script. Bengali has its own script, but the set of letters is more or less common in both those languages, as is the case with most of the Indian languages. So the set of alphabets are more or less common, but the scripts are different, right? So that's similar in Bengali. So whenever, let's say, we change from Krishna in Sanskrit to Krishno in Bengali, the change happens only in pronunciation. It's not like the akar at the end of Krishna becomes okar in Bengali. So it remains akar in Bengali as well, but the pronunciation only changes to o. Uh, so Krishna becomes Krishno, Punya becomes Punno. Here the change happens at the end of the word. Now the change can happen in the middle of the word also, like Shakti becomes Shukti, Bhakti becomes Bhukti. The change can happen both in the middle of the word and the end of the word together as well, like Dharma becomes Dharmo, Karma becomes Kormo. Now, the next word barf, if you notice, there are two consonants side by side. In Bengali, we generally avoid such harsh sounds. So, if there are two consonants side by side, there will be vowels which are inserted between those two consonants to soften out the sound. So, barf becomes borof. Uh, Again, quickly, just for people who are interested, uh, those are akars. The two O's in Borof are actually akars in Bengali. They are just pronounced as O. So Barf is Borof, Barfi is Borfi. The next two words have halants, that is sharp consonant endings. In Bengali, again, such sharp sounds are avoided. So In spelling, there are akars added, but in pronunciation, they sound as o. So rakt becomes rokto, arambh becomes arambho. Um, Now the last word, rasgulla, you can notice that the first is changed to o. The after s there is ras. Ras again. There's a sharp consonant sound. So to soften it, o is inserted. So it becomes rosho. And gulla, the u is changed to o. Uh, Now, I think the Sanskrit word for rasgulla is rasgolak, but in Bengali, so basically, what I'm trying to say is there may be other vowels which get changed into O, but they are very uncommon. So the most common one is a change of akar to okar, but there can be some changes in other vowels too. Uh, so rasgulla becomes roshogolla. Roshogolla. The second sound which undergoes changes is V. Now the letter V and the sound V is not present in Bengali at all. So wherever in Hindi or Sanskrit there is V, it goes into Bengali as Ba. The letter B in Hindi or Sanskrit goes into Bengali as it is. So both of the V and B sounds in Sanskrit are migrated into Bengali as Ba. This is a clip from the movie Kahani. Now, the problem this lady faces is mentioned quite a few times all over the movie, and this is a common problem which Bengalis face when they try to speak in Hindi or Sanskrit, simply because the sound "va" is non-existent in Bengali. So
गुड मॉर्निंग विद्या मैडम।
विद्या नहीं विद्या ब ब नॉट ब
आप जैसे बोले विद्या मैडम।
So let's have a look at some of the examples. So as we saw, Vidya in Sanskrit becomes Bidda in Bengali. Viman in Sanskrit is Biman in Bengali. Vande becomes Bonde. Now notice that there are two changes in this word. So verb becomes ba and a becomes o. So Vande goes to Bonde. So Vande Mataram becomes Bonde Mataram in Bengali. Uh, Ravi becomes Robi. Again, two changes in the same word. A becomes o, verb becomes ba. Uvacha becomes Ubacho. Uvacha becomes Ubacho. Then there are common words like Dev and Devi, which becomes Deb and Debi. The third change again comes from missing sounds in Bengali. In Sanskrit, there are three S sounds, sh, sh, and sa. But in Bengali, though there are all the three S's in the script, for pronunciation there is only one sound, that is sh. So for the three S's in Sanskrit, sh, sh, and sa, for Bengali, all the three pronunciations are replaced with shaw, shaw, and shaw. Now, the first word is Suhasini. There are two S's. Both of the S change sound. So, Suhasini becomes Shuhashini. Sundar becomes Shundur. There are two sound changes in this word. The S changes sound and the becomes O. So, Sundar becomes Shundur. Sona, which means gold, becomes Shona. Now, Shona in Bengali also means to hear or to listen. Now, Shona as in gold and Shona as in to listen are spelled in Bengali with two different S's, but they sound exactly the same. So we can differentiate them by listening to the context. Moving on, Sakha becomes Shokha. Sakha becomes Shokha. There are again two changes. The S changes sound and the becomes O. So Sakha is Shokha. Asur becomes Oshur. Asur is Oshur. Now this is applicable to Sur also. So Sur, which means God or musical tune in Sanskrit, is represented in Bengali by Shur. Sur becomes Shur. Um, Sukh becomes Shuk. Asuk becomes Ashuk. Asuk becomes Ashuk. Now let's have a look by putting all the three changes which we saw together. Now you will understand that you already have a huge vocabulary base in Sanskrit, but why you are probably not able to understand them in Bengali, because if changes take place like together, then it becomes very difficult to identify the word. But with with some alertness and some practice, you should be able to bring your existing vocabulary of Sanskrit into Bengali very fast. The first one is Sarva. Here, all the three changes are taking place simultaneously. So the S changes sound, the becomes O, and the V changes to B. So Sarva becomes Shorbo. Vikas becomes Bikash. Two changes in this word. V becomes B and S becomes Sh. Vikas to Bikash. Vikasit to Bikoshito. V changes to Bo. K changes to Ko. S changes to Sh. And the T at the end, Vikasit, uh, to avoid the harsh sound, a vowel is added. In this case, the vowel is O. So, T becomes To. So, Vikasit becomes Bikoshito. Somvar becomes Shombar. Two changes. The S changes to from S to Sh, from V to B. So, Somvar becomes Shombar. The last one, Saubhagya. Saubhagya becomes Shaubhagyo. Saubhagya to Shaubhagyo. This is the homework for today. Actually, the classwork. How to say thank you in Bengali. The answer appears in all of the last slides, and it will be there in today's last slide as well. Before that, let's have a quick recap at what we learned today. So the first rule is there are a lot of okars in Bengali in pronunciation, not in spelling. The changes happen when there is a akar sound in the Sanskrit word. Also, when there are standalone consonants, uh, the changes do not apply when there is a sound in Sanskrit. So it happens with akar, not with akar. The second rule is va and ba, both in Sanskrit, become ba in Bengali because the va sound or letter is not there in Bengali. All the three s's, sa, sh, sh, becomes sh, sh, sh in Bengali. And all of these changes can occur simultaneously in the word, which might make it a bit difficult to understand, but with practice and alertness, you certainly can use your existing vocabulary. And this is not an exhaustive set of rules. There are other rules which affect changes. So we will look at them next time. So thank you. That's it for today. The Sanskrit for thank you is Dhanyavad. Applying the rules to the and the Bengali becomes dhonnobad. So, dhonnobad for watching today's episode. Hope it helps you. সবাই ভালো থেকো, আবার দেখা হবে. Everyone stay well. We will meet again soon.